So there's been some interesting developments in Milwaukee the last few days. I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but there was, of course, protests going on. There was protests against police brutality. There was a house, this house that you're seeing right here, was burned down after a really crazy scene. And I honestly still can't quite get to the bottom of it, but I'm hoping some of my listeners out there who maybe know a little bit more about this, or maybe somebody who's local. We are also going to reach out to some activists and see if we can get to the bottom of this, because what this has to do with, guys, this house right here is apparently known for sex trafficking and child trafficking. And while these protests were going on, some of the activists got word that there was kids that were being hid there. And so they decided to go there. And apparently some children did come out and they were rescued, and some were returned to their families. Other children, they said they don't know where they're at. And it ultimately resulted in this house being set on fire, which is unfortunate because probably some of the evidence is gone, whoever was involved in this. Now, in Houston, sometimes there's abandoned houses like this. And, if there's an abandoned house, somebody might go use it to get high in, or just to pass out in, or to commit crimes in, because it's an abandoned house. And that does happen. I don't know if that's what this situation was, but as far as I could tell, people were living in this house. And so the house burned Tuesday night. Milwaukee Police Department says that they have visited this house at least 27 times in the last 4 years. And you can see here are all the different calls: shots fired, threats, stolen vehicle, welfare citizen, shot spotter. Now, of course, this is the technology I was talking about. They put it up in light poles, and it detects sound. So when somebody allegedly fires a gun, it turns on and it alerts the cops. But the problem is it's always recording, not just when guns are fired. But you see this, there's all these different shot spotter, battery, domestic violence, reckless use of WDV, property damage, theft. So they've been to this house a lot of times. They know about this house clearly. And the property, it's at 40 Street, 2120 LLC. It's who it's owned by. Michael Barsh, the registered agent. It's from 1903. And so let's look at this other one here. The cops involved here basically said that there was nothing to see here. They claim that the activists believe that there was young kids inside there, but they claim that there's no evidence. Now, this could be a case of maybe the activists were wrong. I've been out there at the protests. Some of these people, they get in mob mentality. And if somebody says, hey, there's kids over there, everybody just starts repeating it, and it could be wrong. But it could also be the cops trying to cover their ass for something they don't want people to know about. So it says 2 teenage girls missing since Sunday afternoon have been found, according to their family, and a house that a crowd believed to be connected to their disappearance has been burned. The confused situation erupted Tuesday afternoon after community organizers and others were alerted that 2 teenage girls and other missing children were spotted going between the house and a red van. Several dozen people gathered outside the house, and the Milwaukee Police Department was called. Community organizer Frank Nitti, who arrived on the site after a crowd had begun to gather, expressed his frustration with the police response time and a lack of action. He says, it took them so long to come to our community. And he said that an individual believed to have knowledge of the incident ran from a home to another home and later fled the scene. After police left, people broke windows at the second home, and officers in riot gear returned to the scene. So like I said, there was kind of this face-off between the cops and the activists. And let me show you one more. Yesterday, activists clean up around burned house as questions remain. So activists came back and they did, do some cleaning, try to keep the community nice. Obviously, they burned down the house. It might be frustration. It could be that somebody was trying to hide their own evidence. You never really know. Here's a local news report. Says 7 officers injured during civil unrest after house fire and search for missing girls. And there's the chief talking. I am going to show you guys a little bit of the press conference that they held. But so it's just, let me just show you a little video here. It's just crazy. I mean, this is such a weird situation. My buddy John Vibe sent this to me, and I started, digging into it, because so people hear that there might be children hidden in this house. So they go out to the house. Some people end up lighting the building on fire. You can see right here, people are looking around trying to find the kids. That's basically what you're watching right there. They're not looting that house. They're looking for kids. And then eventually, somehow, we don't know, someone set the house on fire, and the cops get called, and they face off with the activists and all that. But the cops are being very, they say there's an ongoing investigation. They claim that this was just vigilantism and that the people need to let the cops do the investigation. There you can see the fire raging. But if there was evidence of missing girls, if there was any kind of plan, if there was, if it was more than just people stealing kids and taking them to this house, it's gone now, or at least a large majority of it is gone. You see the top of the house is burned. If there was any evidence in there, it's going to be hard to recover that. And then they eventually used tear gas on the people who were out there protesting and kind of going against the cops. Let me show you this press conference right here. Let me go ahead and 1 second, guys. I'm going to show you this press conference. Once again, this is Derrick Broze of the Conscious Resistance Network. Thank you guys for listening. I appreciate all the support. And if you know anything about this story, please do post some comments. Let me know about this. I've never really, this is kind of new to me, but let's go ahead and check out this press conference.
You allow one house to burn. That means you allow the entire block to burn. And there's people in these residents that aren't going to move. They choose to live where they choose. And that's what we're all here for, is to preserve life. We cannot let this stuff happen. Thank you.
Chief, you had multiple people in the crowd upset and getting angry with police. They told us many, many times they don't believe Milwaukee police care or investigate when Black children go missing. And we also heard from multiple people in the crowd that a lot of those houses on that street have sex trafficking and have proved to be sex trafficking houses. Can you speak to those 2 points?
Absolutely. We investigate the information that is given to us. We can't allow an unruly crowd determine what that investigation is. What you had today is vigilantism. You had people take the law into their own hands and run off of information that has not been proven. We need to investigate that. That's what the police is here for. We need to determine what crime.
Okay. So I think you guys got the point there. I don't know if y'all could hear that clearly. I apologize if not. But this chief is basically going into the story and saying that, yes, they did find children, but again, he calls it vigilantism and says that, people need to let them do their job, but the community doesn't trust them. And they mentioned Frank Nitti. Frank Nitti is a local activist. Apparently, he's very prominent in Milwaukee. And I found his Facebook page, and he's got several different videos you can see here. Obviously, we're not going to go into all of them right now because they're all like about an hour long of him live streaming. But if you look right here, it says missing kids tracked to this house. That's Frank right there. This video's got 1.1 million views on Facebook, so people are obviously paying attention. He was live streaming on the scene. This is a second video of his called, I think, Track Kids to the House Part 2. He's got at least 4, maybe 5 of these. So I will post these videos in the comments in just a second. If anybody wants to dive into those, missing kids tracked to the house, you can watch the whole scene. Again, this one's got 1.3 million views. People are really paying attention and they're not trusting the cops. And if you listen to what Frank says in here, he basically says that the cops were totally downplaying the fact that kids were found at this house. Now, I don't have the evidence, of course, at the moment, but I would be skeptical of cops who aren't eager to go out there and investigate missing kids. And I also think it's a little odd that this whole building ends up getting lit on fire. Now, obviously it didn't burn down to the ground, but it is interesting and unfortunate to see that this happened. So if you have more information about this, please do share it with me. I'm going to be watching these videos tonight and trying to learn more about it. But Frank Nitti II on Facebook, if you find him, see right here, it says missing kids tracked to this house, Part 4, 2 kids found, power to the people. So they were clearly investigating and looking further into this. So he's got at least 5 videos of just the other day, Tuesday, showing the face-off between the cops and the activists and showing just everything that was taking place. So 4 kids found right here. And he says, we're going to find the rest. And yeah, it's just an interesting story, guys. Like I said, it's not COVID related, but for those of you who know that I do follow with missing children stories, and I also try to keep up with trafficking stories, I don't know. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's just an isolated incident. Maybe that's just a house where some people, happen to get taken from. I don't know. It could be more than that. Either way, you guys go ahead and do the research. You investigate. You tell me what you think. And, let's try to figure it out. I would love to dive deeper into this because honestly, guys, I don't always have the resources to do all the research I want. I try to do as much investigations as I can. I try to write articles and do these videos, and it's a lot. And I'm just a one-person team. Thankfully, I have Miriam to help with like some emails. I've got a couple online volunteers for social media. But as far as content creation and research investigation, this is just a one-person team. And I'm okay with that. My point is, though, I want this to be a crowdsourced investigation. I want this to be something that we collaborate on and we work together so that we can get to the bottom of this.